In February 2025, eastern Kentucky experienced historic and catastrophic flooding following a line of severe storms that began around February 14th. The event caused widespread damage to infrastructure and resulted in multiple fatalities across the region. To better frame the impact, we reported here at Mountaintop News what could have been had flood projects such as the Pikeville cut-through and the city's flood wall not been put in place following the flood in 1957, known then as the Flood of Record. Behind me you can see Oxford Street in downtown Pikeville today, and that is how it appeared during last month's flood as waters stayed out of the city. It was a much different story on the same street in 1957, which you can see here when the Leviza Fork rose to more than 52 feet and floodwaters got into buildings throughout downtown. But that begs the question, how much did all of the flood protection measures built over the years, such as the city's flood wall, the cut-through, and Fish Trap, Dewey, and Flanagan dams, contribute to keeping Pikeville safe? In other words, what would this year's flood have been like without all of that protection? As you can see from this computer projection behind me now, it would have been the worst flood on record, far worse than the flood of 1957. The flood took the lives of 24 people across the Commonwealth, with 5 of those deaths occurring in Pike and Floyd counties. Rainfall began on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and persisted until totals crept to 9 inches in some parts of the counties. Rivers crested some more than 30 feet, the highest since 1984. All this leading to some 1,000 water rescues. Tug Valley Regional Hospital alone evacuated 50 patients and 30 staff in what local officials would later say was a close call for a massive loss of lives. When the rains subsided, it was Pike County that was considered the hardest hit across the state. Hundreds of residential and business structures were damaged as the Leviza Fork of the Big Sandy River reached a top 5 historic crest of 46.68 feet. Within 72 hours, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear stood in the Pike County Fiscal Courthouse addressing a battered county and region.
We just got hit by one of the most significant natural disasters we've seen in our lifetime, and that's after seeing a lot. We look at flooding. Certainly eastern Kentucky got the worst of it, and it's not been that long since you got the worst of a couple other disasters too.
Areas such as the cities of Allen and Floyd County and Coal Run and Pike County were 2 of the hardest hit in the eastern counties, with downtown Allen traversable mostly by boat and Coal Run's Weddington Plaza shopping center destroyed, closing all but a couple businesses there. Infrastructure was wiped out in large numbers, with Pike County alone seeing nearly a dozen bridges completely washed away and some 350 roads either closed due to high water or damage across the region. Officials would later estimate that across the Commonwealth, more than 18,000 structures were damaged, with costs exceeding $1 billion.
We have experienced a significant flood event, which as we stand here today has claimed approximately 3 lives. We do think that there are potentially additional fatalities. We don't know that. There are individuals who are missing. We have hundreds of structures, both business and residential, that have been damaged, and a lot of the individuals who have been harmed by this flood have been also damaged in recent floods, some as recent as the July 28, 2022 event.
Displaced flood victims were housed in shelters around the region, while state parks such as Jenny Wiley took in hundreds left homeless. In the time since the flood, FEMA and other federal, state, and local organizations have rendered aid, perhaps most significantly in seeing a home buyout program started that will enable hundreds of residents to move from homes repeatedly flooded during severe weather over the years. Reporting for Mountaintop News, I'm Sheldon Compton.